on my cash stack. High yields on stable coins, yeah, that's where my bag at. All I really need is Wi-Fi, get money on DeFi, mega cash on MetaMask. You better run when the runners run, show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum, markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get a ton, crypto, yeah, I got some. You better run when the runners run, you better run when the runners run.
All right, welcome to the show, everyone. It's Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. So much is going on in the world, cryptocurrency, wealth. We're going to cover it all for you guys tonight. AKA Mims, making it make sense. What's going on, my man?
Yep, what's going on, brother? Everything is great. No complaints, man. Always fired up and excited. 2024, man. It's the year. It's the year.
Yes, I'm loving it. And we had some serious technical difficulties getting on our guests. So we just decided that we're going to wait on that interview and bring them back some other time. But we kindly got it figured out what the issue was. So we will definitely have them on again to hear how we're getting paid daily, tracking our health, getting paid, selling health data. That's, over $100 billion industry. But we will save that for another time. Ricardo, let's just kind of get right into the markets. I know you have a lot of different stories you want to share that you need to make it make sense. But we are again at gold still being the number one asset in the world at 2,051. Apple at number 3, 188. Google 5, 153. NVIDIA, which we're going to need to make sure we start talking about them because of the AI play in cryptos. NVIDIA is huge. $627. It's gone up a ton this year. Silver down to $23.20. And I think the Bitcoin ETF overtook the silver ETF, or I don't know if that was growth or what it was, but
okay.
People still ain't giving silver the respect it deserves.
Right. So that means there's a massive opportunity bubbling even greater than what's already there. Yep.
So, last week's episode was the dip we've been waiting for. So lots of altcoin action last week. BitSensor up 53%, Render 27, Helium 26, Sui, I did a video on Sui this week on how to qualify for airdrops and use their DeFi. That went up 33%. Solana still ripping at 19%. And so what we're seeing here, guys, is Bitcoin's just kind of chilling. Okay, it did do that dip to 38 we talked about last week. It got to 39 or so, and it's just kind of slowly moving up. Some people say we're going down. Some people say we're going up. We don't know what's going to happen, but you just want to make sure you're getting in the market and prepared for whatever could happen. You can see we're still pretty positive. Well, I guess we're down on the month. So we had that high on 111 at 48, and then we came back down and went back up. So Bitcoin chopping, and a lot of times that's when the altcoins decide to run. Mims, anything you wanted to add when it comes to the market, Bitcoin?
Yeah. Look, the major financial institutions, the BlackRocks and the like, they're still buying, folks. So do understand something that, it doesn't just shoot up overnight, and that more money is coming into buying Bitcoin. The ETFs have launched. There's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes with the infrastructure and with orders that are ready to come in. So, these are, so like I said, some people might think it's going lower. Some people might think it's going higher. But that's why we talk about dollar cost averaging. But either way, you guys are so early, even still, because we still have a financial crisis. We still have global markets and uncertainty, wars, rumors of wars, and things of this nature, massive money printing. And so, the places that money are going to go are into assets that are digital and physical. And so that's why you definitely need to be looking at not just Bitcoin, because obviously there are a lot of other projects that we talk about in the blockchain and crypto space that are going to give you way more gains in return in regards to what you put in as opposed to Bitcoin. But it's a very exciting time to be into digital and physical assets right now, because once we have this bull run, once we have this run up, you either you were in it or you weren't, okay? And you're gonna be kicking yourself for the rest of your life if you don't get in at this time before we have this massive explosion.
Yeah, guys. I mean, we nailed it this week again. Again, doing the video on Sui. That's up basically the top coin, that and Manta, at 34% for this week. So there's always money to be made in crypto right now. This is Ricardo. You wanted to kind of mention this, guys. I think what we're seeing here, Ricardo, is a transition in 2024 from the old way to the new way. PayPal cuts 9% of the workforce. UPS cuts 12,000 roles. Microsoft cuts 1,900. Twitch cuts 35% of their workforce. Unity 25%. Discord 17. Wayfair 13. Riot Games 11. And it just keeps going. So Mims, why do you think we're seeing this? And what do people need to know about this new economy that's emerging?
I mean, a crash is coming. It's inevitable. It's in the numbers. The bond market has been signaling, that there's a correction coming. We're seeing that obviously massive layoffs and things of this nature are coming because they have data, they have analytics, they have these think tanks and things that can see ahead of time based on the data where the economy is going. And so we already know that a lot of these stocks, a lot of these companies are overvalued. This is what you're seeing is the COVID money running out. This was an injection into the economy. They shut down the whole world, shut down the whole global economy, and printed 80% of all currency in circulation in the last few years. Well, at some point it stops, it runs out, because we're never going to get back to that type of growth, And so what we're seeing here is that liquidity is drying up, especially as they raised interest rates. And as we see what's going on with banks right now and their liquidity issues, having to dip into the repo markets and things of this nature to settle their books every night. And so there is a crash coming. And in that crash, the wealthy will get wealthier and the poor will get poorer, unfortunately. But this is why we're trying to help people tap into what the wealthy are doing with assets, okay? Getting into technology, okay? And resources, because that's what we're going back to. We're going to a technology and resource-based economy, not a fiat debt-based dollar economy where they just print money and create value from nothing. So this is why we talk about getting physical silver, getting physical gold. This is why we talk about getting into blockchain and AI, and automation and things of this nature, because this is where the wealth is going to be in that wealth transfer, So yeah, we can anticipate a crash coming. This market is massively overvalued. It's rigged, and people are going to be in for a shock. But those who have the right assets are going to fare very well.
Yeah, well said, guys. And it's about, you have to do something different. Okay, buying the S&P 500 every 2 weeks isn't going to change your life. Okay, you may be able to live a couple years by the time you're 59 and a half. That's about it. Okay. The old world, the old way of doing things are dead.
Yeah. And if you go to, a lot of times, if you go to the usdebtclock.org, folks, you'll see that they always have a new window pop up. So they kind of have this info, graphic, kind of a chart. It's kind of letting people know that the reset is here. I hope you do know that you're living in the greatest monetary, fiscal, global reset that has ever happened on the planet. Okay. We're moving away. The world is moving away from this fiat currency model back to a resource-based, value model, right? And so even that's a new one they just put up, because they had another one there before. But they're kind of helping people understand the monetary system, how we got here, where we're going. And that's the most important thing. Your most important thing is you understanding what's going on in the economy, not following a YouTube or a TikTok who's telling you to buy this and buy that. When you have the knowledge and understanding for yourself, you have that discernment. You will know what you need to do and what capacity. You will attract where to get it from. You will follow those people who are leading you in that right direction. So this is why the education information is so important in that process. But yeah, we're seeing something that the world has never seen before. We're witnessing it right now. Whether you hear the rumors of civil war, whether you hear, what's going on with around the world with U.S. Members, getting attacked, and all this with Iran, and and everything else with the wars. So these are some real times that we're living in, and it's a transfer. And I hope you're in position. But yeah, Mike, go ahead. Maybe you can speak on that, what you're looking at there.
Did you hear? I swear I heard yesterday that we went from 33 trillion to 34 trillion in like 3 months.
Yeah, we're putting on. Yeah, the numbers are growing ridiculously. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, we're easily putting on trillions of dollars. I mean, you see the numbers just going, and they don't have no choice but to print more. I mean, what do you think is going to happen when we go to war? It gives them a reason to print more money. So this is what governments do. When there's a crisis, to bail out the economy, they take you to war. It gives them a reason to print more money. So it's either going to be war or it's disease X. It's this unknown thing that's out there that we now have to print trillions of more dollars for, that we now have to take away some of your freedom, your liberties, and your rights, where we now have to put you in a state of fear and paralysis so you can accept the slavery 2.0 system that we already had planned and designed for you in the beginning. We just tried to figure out a way to make you accept it. That's what they're operating on. And you have to be awoke to that, because we have to not acquiesce. Okay. We have to see it for what it is, see the play that they're playing, and do the opposite and come together. That's really what it's coming down to. But we got to get wealthy in the process. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a video today. We got to cover it later. It's this lady from NPR who says that the national debt is our savings.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, you know how like now like up is down and black is white and girls are boys.
Yeah.
They're just going to tell us now that our debt is our savings. I'm not joking. This was like a college professor.
Yeah.
Trying to like switch.
Is that some Dave Ramsey stuff? It's like some Twilight Zone, man. It's Twilight Zone. It's wild. It is crazy. I mean, you'll have people tell you that it's good to buy, get a CD at the bank, or they'll tell you that the interest rate that they're giving is great, especially if there's somebody who works at the bank. So you have to know who you get your information from. You got to be able to have that discernment.
Well, you just told me all of this right before the live, Ricardo. This is wild to me. JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, and Goldman Sachs drafting landmark lawsuit against the Federal Reserve.
Wow.
Let's see what this is about.
Yeah.
They've hired one of the best conservative trial lawyers in the country to draft a lawsuit. Eugene Scalia, son of the former Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, is spearheading the legal effort, which would aim to eliminate proposed rules that would force banks to increase the amount of cash they have on hand. It would be the first time.
God forbid that the bank has your money.
No.
Has money. They can't know that. No, what are they doing? You're trying to require us to have money and hold money on our books? Nonsense. Go ahead, Mike.
So it's the first time in recent memory that the industry has sued the Fed, and a departure from the standard halls of power persuasion efforts to try avoid antagonizing its chief regulator. So they're biting the hand that feeds it. They must be desperate.
Yeah, well, it's now coming because it's globalism. You see, and now it's before where the system worked for them. Now they're taking their orders from the globalists. And that's the globalist agenda to have those requirements. That's not pushed by, obviously the JP Morgans and things of that nature. That's coming out of the BIS and these other, entities that are putting these requirements. And we've talked about this Basel III, and things of this nature, where the banks have to have that liquidity. They have to have the assets. They just can't do all this, hypothecation of value of nothing and have nothing on the books.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Mims, But at first, when I read this, I'm thinking, well, good for the bank suing the Fed. But now I'm reading this, and it basically looks like the Fed is trying to basically destroy American banks. It says the Fed wants banks to hold an additional 20% in cash. The banks say, well, now that means we're going to have 30. And then Scalia says, who's representing the banks, the Fed has plenty of explaining to do. As a matter of legal process, it's not going to be enough to say that a bunch of regulators got together in Switzerland, and this rule is what they brought down from the mountain. So it sounds like this is something that they dreamt up at what was the conference they just had?
Yeah, World Economic Forum, or this I know you're talking about the
one in Switzerland. It'll come
yeah,
to me.
Yeah. These events that they haven't, that's why I mentioned the BIS or WEF, but these events, Davos type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was, Davos.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what it's coming down to. It's saying that they need to have more cash on hands in the event that there's a liquidity crisis, because they do these stress tests and things of that nature. But essentially, the banks don't have your money. We know that's the whole system is insolvent. And now, like we talked about, it's funny because the banks make money on both ends, where you have if you understand the inception of the Federal Reserve, it was set up by the banks. They're the shareholders, and then the banks sell the bonds to the Federal Reserve, and then the Federal Reserve gives the cash to the banks. So they're the middlemen. They're making money on both ends of the trade. But now it's where they don't have control over the Fed as they used to, or the way they would like. Now the control over the Fed is coming from, like they said, the people from the
globalists, right?
The globalists. And they said, well, hold on, we don't want this, because they can't, they're insolvent, they don't have it. So it's a takeover. It's a hostile takeover in that sense, where they're putting requirements on them that they know they can't fulfill.
Right. To cause the crash. Got it.
To cause a crash, exactly.
Well, Ricardo, this is breaking news. Apparently, you can get a 1.116% CD. So, guys, go to this website. I mean, if you guys are in Texas, a 1.45 CD.
4% on the CD.
Like, get out of here.
Oh, man, this is crazy. It's crazy. I mean, because, people never really knew about this stuff or considered it. And it's just laughable, that they would even offer such a product in the face of inflation, in the face of, devaluation, and, everything else that the world is waking up to. People are becoming more financially literate than they've ever in any time period in history. So it's just wow. Why would you even just get rid of the product? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's dumb.
Inflation's 9 to 15%. Lock your money up with us for 1 year, and we'll give you 1.15.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to say we told you so. It has now been proven. The SEC has admitted you can say inaccurate statements if you want to be nice. I will say bold-faced lying, destroying tens of thousands of people's lives.
Oh, man. Wow, the SEC really, can I say fucked up here? Okay.
Hey, I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, I mean, for real. And, because, what they've done to what they did, create an opportunity for those who know about the debt box and who took advantage of buying projects early on, but they've devastated a lot of people's lives. The people who work on these projects, these are real people who work jobs that support these real ecosystems that's backing this project, okay? This is not a crypto Ponzi scheme where they said they were doing something, they really didn't do it. This is why we went to Africa. This is why Joe and them went to see the oil wells, and Travis talked about, we touched the oil. We seen the oil. Okay. So we knew it was real. And then for the SEC to come out here and say it wasn't real. And I mean, even our income stopped, and a lot of people's income stopped. And then the assets that they were holding, dropped dramatically, and things of this nature. But the SEC straight up lied. This is historic. Okay. This is historic in the crypto space. This is historic against the SEC. Okay. And so the debt box is still getting back control of everything, their assets in the company. But this is very great news for those of us that are in the debt box ecosystem and where the debt box is going. But yeah, Mike, I mean, now the SEC wants to just dismiss the case as opposed to
dismiss its lawsuit after the agency's lawyers admitted inaccurate statements were made in court, aka lying, aka misrepresenting the truth, creating stuff out of thin air, not doing your due diligence. It told the Utah U.S. District Court Judge Robert Shelby that it planned to dismiss the action without prejudice, meaning the SEC can still refile its case. So that is very worrying to me.
Yeah, we're not
I'm
going
not,
for that.
I'm not going to pretend I'm a legal expert, but that doesn't sound good.
No, we're going to move forward, and we want to definitely push for sanctions. They're going to be held accountable. Over $400 million in damages. Okay, they can't. We're not. No. But it's very telling that they would rather go ahead for a dismissal. Okay, it's very telling. Very good for the debt box. Go ahead.
The SEC admitted in late December that it made inaccurate statements and said it fell short of the expectations to be accurate and candid in the court.
No, this can't fly. You cannot issue an emergency TRO. It's unprecedented. You don't just issue emergency TROs, and the judge knows this, and he didn't even want to do it. Right. And they assured the judge that there was this illicit criminal activity taking place where they had to do this immediate action, and then to find out that that's not the case, there has to be some type of recourse, restitution, some sanctions. They need to be fired. There's a whole lot of stuff that needs to happen here. This isn't we'll just go ahead and dismiss our case and with prejudice or without prejudice, or what is it so they can bring it up at any time? No, that doesn't make sense. That's not how it's going to go down.
Well, the commission recognizes that its attorneys should have been more forthcoming with the court. Sanctions are not appropriate or necessary to address those issues.
Yeah, I bet you would say that.
Yeah, I bet you would say that.
Yeah, but what's on the line is the judge's credibility as well.
Right.
And from what I understand, the judge did not want to do this TRO in the first place. These are extraordinary measures that should not just be used, willy-nilly. Okay, if you're going to get this done, it's got to be, the facts and everything got to be solid.
Yep.
And for them to have nothing to attach themselves to that can to at least appear that their information was credible is very telling. It's very telling. And they have to pay for that. They have to pay for that. So I think that the judge will definitely be in Debt Box's favor after this and let justice ring.
Yeah, something major needs to happen when the government and the SEC agency mess up this much and destroy so many people's lives and wealth. There needs to be retribution, at least financially. If not, people need to go to jail. I mean, if you and I lie in court, we go to jail.
Yeah.
So how is a person who's working for the SEC knowingly lie in court and not get some sort of consequence? I mean, people need to be, lose their bar license as far as I'm concerned.
There's a lot of money, from the oil projects that we have in Nebraska, Nevada, to fix, what they've messed up. People who've lost their jobs, and these sites, they need constant maintenance and thousands of dollars to get it back running again. And then the legal fees and things of this nature. No, there has to be, there's no way that I don't see that there's some sanctions, some compensation, this is not going to just get swept under the rug with a dismissal in this fashion. I know Jason is out for blood. Okay. Jason is out for blood. And the Debt Box ecosystem is moving along with layer one. We've already started staking with some projects. I'm already getting some rewards in. Okay. It's still so early for the Debt Box ecosystem. 2024 is going to be a phenomenal year. I believe millionaires are going to be created with the Debt Box ecosystem by the end of 2024. When you understand the news that will be coming out with what's going on in Ghana, and $1.5 trillion in natural gas, $1 trillion in oil, when these publications start to come out, and what the Debt Box is doing, it's going to blow people's minds. And then the implementation of being able to stake debt token and get NFTs, and these NFTs are nodes, and all these projects that are coming online. It's just going to be phenomenal. We're so early. Just 2024 is just getting started. So yeah, know what you hold. Okay, know what you hold. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another point I'd forgot about that they went to these, the defendants' homes, Roy, Shad, with armed guards where their
Yeah.
kids are there and burst in their house, at these early morning no-knock raids.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could have literally scarred children for life based on
Yeah.
absolutely nothing but hearsay.
Yeah. The damages on that is crazy. That like criminals, they have to. Yeah, there's too much that took place because of these lies. That this has to get handled properly, and it's not with just a dismissal. It's no way. It's no way. There's too much that has transpired, too much resources, too much emotional, mental damage, too much financial damage, too much investor loss, because there are investors who bought the debt box tokens and got an ecosystem. And then after the SEC came out with this, they sold everything and they haven't returned, or some of them. Right. And now if you look at the debt, if you look at the token, it's back up to where it was in its normal trading range prior to the SEC coming out, with these lies and allegations toward the debt box. And I believe the ecosystem's going much higher, so they've caused a lot of loss and damages, and it has to be accounted for.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, my man. I think that's all I had tonight. Any last words?
No, I'm excited for February. I believe a lot of great things are going on in February. Okay, a lot of great things are going to pop in February in the precious metal space, in the crypto space, in the cash flow space. I'm anticipating, we're still in winter, but I'm anticipating, going into spring and like getting that momentum started early. Okay, whatever you planned on doing in the springtime, just get it started now, like already getting to that motion. You know what I mean? That's what I'm feeling going into February. Of course, we know there's going to be a lot of chaos still, a lot of distractions, a lot of drama. We got the Super Bowl and everything else, and these wars and the border and everything else. Don't get distracted. There's a lot of deep fakes out here. There's a lot of, false information. Just keep doing what you need to do to make sure that you come out on top of this for whatever scenario that you foresee. But we definitely, I believe in February, starting in February, mid-February, a lot more content, a lot more value, and a lot more excitement for what we got going on. So, yeah, we'll definitely catch you guys on the next show, and I'm excited. Lace up, let's get wealthy.
All right.